From the Samson Production Studios in the heart of Hazleton, Pennsylvania, it's your News 13.
Brought to you by SSPTV and the Standard Speaker.
It was an epic tragedy that still evokes strong emotion in our region. Remembering those who died in the Shepton mine disaster, our top story on News 13 for this Thursday. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Kathy Bazinski. Louis Bova and two other miners were trapped more than 300 feet underground for 14 days in the Shepton mine disaster. The other miners made it out alive, but Bova never resurfaced. As Matthew Petrillo tells us, family and friends honored him last night at a memorial service.
The memorial service began with a mass at St. Joseph Roman Catholic Church in Shepton. Father Edmund Brennan remembers when he first heard coal miner Louis Bova didn't make it out of the mine.
Your first childhood reaction was, oh, I hope it's not anybody I know, or I hope it's not anybody of my family.
After the mass, about 200 people attended a graveside ceremony. It was on top of the shaft where the miners were trapped, and where a memorial for Louis Bova stands today.
No one ever gave up.
Friends and family came and spoke about Bova.
They need to know about our resilience.
It was John Bova's dad who lost his life in the mine. John was only 8 months old at the time, but he remembers coming to the mine during his youth.
Coming up when I was a little boy, dropping the shells down into the test pipes.
Bova knows emergency crews drilled holes underground and dropped microphones down to hear the men to make sure they were alive. But there's a lot he doesn't know.
Now, Bova said he did get some closure tonight, but that he's still looking for answers. He says he doesn't like being left in the dark, not unlike his father, trapped in the mine 50 years ago.
There's a lot of things that go through my mind, too, like what really happened. No one really knows. Only three men and God, and them three men are dead.
Bova's mother passed away a few years ago, so he spread her ashes on his father's memorial site, saying now they are together.
Aim, pump, present, pump, bugler, down the top.
I feel happy and I feel sorrow, you know. I mean, sure, there was a miracle, and then there was the tragedy, too. But I know what it is to go in a hole like that, in the mines. Takes a special man. Not just anybody can go in that hole. I know, I tried it. I know how it feels. It's cold, it's dark, it's damp, it's clammy, and you work your fingers to the bone for little or no money. And back then it was really little or no money. Yeah, so I'm proud to be a coal cracker. I am a coal cracker. This is the coal cracking region.
Matthew Petrillo, News 13, Shepton.
Governor Tom Corbett has appointed a woman from our area as his new director of communications. Madeline Lynn Lawson, who's originally from Cunningham, was appointed director of communication for the Pennsylvania governor's office. Her duties will include overseeing the public relations and communications outreach for the governor's office, as well as directing the communications offices of 27 state government agencies. Governor Corbett says he's pleased to have her expertise heading into the upcoming legislative session. Lawson, who graduated from West Hazleton High School, worked at a number of local businesses when she was starting out, and says those experiences helped her become a hard worker. Lawson is looking forward to working with the governor as well as the people of Pennsylvania.
I'm honored, really, to work for an elected official of the caliber and quality of Governor Tom Corbett. He's done a lot for Pennsylvania already, and I very much enjoy connecting the public's right to know with the facts. And so I look forward to getting started and assisting in his vision for Pennsylvania. But I will say the hometown values that you get growing up in Cunningham and the hard work ethic, I think very much has taught me a lot and brought me to where I am today, for sure.
Lawson will begin her new job as communications director next week. Well, this story of lost and found has made national headlines and now may have some ties to our region. Christina Papa explains how a lost and found hero's medal may belong to a relative of someone in our area.
A piece of history, a hero's medal tossed in with a bunch of household items, was found in a box at a Goodwill store in Lockford, New York.
Came in on a donation. We don't know who dropped it off. It came in with a box with a bunch of other stuff.
When employees found this Purple Heart, they knew they had to do something about it. So with the help of Facebook,
We had probably 14,000 hits on our Facebook page for it and a bunch of shares.
they got in contact with Linda Hastrader.
As soon as I saw it, I thought, oh, we have to find out where this Purple Heart belongs. So a few of us, myself and one of our volunteers through the Veteran Recovery Program, decided to start researching.
Luckily, this picture of Private James E. Rowland, whose name was engraved on the medal, was also in that box. Hastrader started searching for the family in the Lockford area, but through some deeper investigation, found Rowland's distant relatives in Westover, a small town in Pennsylvania, where he was buried. The Patriot Riders will be taking a trip to Westover, where the medal will be presented to that family.
The piece that we're missing is how the Purple Heart ended up in the Niagara Falls area.
Rowland's twin sister was there to sign the papers when he passed away. Rowland's mother and brother lived right here in the Hazleton area around the time of his death, and that could potentially mean that Rowland's family could be living right here in Hazleton today. So perhaps Rowland's twin sister or another relative had lived with him in New York, received the medal, and passed it along until its last caretaker passed away.
Wondering is if she ever marry in Hazleton and then move up to New York State, or did she leave Hazleton and then come up to New York? That's our missing piece. We're still not sure of that.
Linda has reached out to our area to see if anyone related to Margaret Rowland would come forward. And with his military background, this case is special to Hazleton's Chief DeAndrea.
And knowing firsthand that there are Rowlands in the city of Hazleton and around it, I spoke with Linda yesterday, and I explained to her that I would attempt to contact some of the family members.
You can contact Chief DeAndrea or Linda Hastrader if you have any information about the Rowland family. Christina Papa, News 13, Hazleton.
And still ahead on News 13, get ready for some cooler nighttime temperatures, but all in all, a pretty terrific weekend. We'll tell you all about it in News 13 weather. But first, the saga of a suspended local police chief continues. Now folks are rallying to support him financially. We'll tell you all about it when News 13 continues. Whether he keeps his job or not, Gilberton's suspended police chief Mark Kessler is making a comeback. Matthew Petrillo has more on what Kessler is up to and how people from all over are supporting him.
If you place a call to Chief Mark Kessler's cell phone these days, he'll probably send you to his voicemail.
You reach Chief Kessler?
Especially if he thinks you're making a threat against him.
Leave a death threat, press 1, otherwise press 2.
But online, friends have been showing their support and putting their money where their mouth is. His website links to another website where you can donate to his calls. His friend, Pastor George Cook, says he set up the site the day Kessler was suspended to cover his grocery bills, mortgage, and legal fees. So far, more than $3,000 of a $10,000 goal was promised to Kessler.
I'm a pastor, first and foremost, right? So, when there's a need there, I don't ask if the need was born because you're a sinner or you're a saint. I just see, okay, look, there's a need there.
Kessler is currently serving a month-long unpaid suspension after he posted this video and it went viral. Gilberton Borough Council members disciplined the one-man police force because they say the guns he used in the video belong to the borough. But Cook calls Kessler a good man.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't act like that. I think he swears more than I would like him to, and I constantly pick on him about it. But I think that he put on sort of a persona, for the videos, and that's what happens when you get in front of cameras sometimes.
But it's unclear if Kessler is receiving the money. Cook says he gave $1,500 to Kessler last week, but Kessler won't return phone calls. And at a press conference last week, he said he didn't know the money existed.
I didn't even know that there was some kind of a fund floating around out there.
$1,500 and what?
I don't even know what it's up
13 hours? It's not there anymore. That's why I wanted to.
I have no idea. I didn't know if it was where it's floating around at.
Still, Kessler says he's grateful for all the support he can get. Matthew Petrillo, News 13.
And time now for our regional weather from the National Weather Service. Checking the radar, we got nothing but clear skies and sunshine, and That's how it's going to be pretty much for the weekend, though. A touch on the cooler side. Creative Condition is tailor-made for the next couple of days. It's by Jalissa Messina, a student at Hazleton Elementary Middle School, and she calls it Walking on Sunshine. Now let's take a look at News 13 weather from the National Weather Service for Greater Hazleton for tonight. Mostly clear with a low around 54 degrees. Then for Friday, sunny with a high near 72. Partly cloudy at night, though, with the low going down to 53. And heading to Schuylkill County for tonight, mostly clear with a low around 48 degrees. On Friday, mostly sunny with a high near 76. It'll be partly cloudy at night with a low around 53 degrees. Well, a program that helps visually impaired children from our area have a fun summer camp experience received a big financial boost today. The Cargill plant in the Hazleton area presented a $2,000 check to Camp Site during the camp's closing ceremony at top of the 80s today. The camp program began 9 years ago at Community Services and has grown since it's partnered with the Greater Wilkes-Barre Association for the Blind. Today, counselors handed out awards to the campers, and some of the kids spoke about what they learned during camp this ceremony. The program is meant to help teach visually impaired campers how to interact with others and set goals for the future. The camp relies on donations to operate.
Camp is 4 weeks. They start one day, manners, take them to restaurants, teach them manners, personal hygiene, we take them shopping. They do trips, learn like how to do unlocks, make a bed. We do some teaching skills, kitchen skills. It's hard to see the kids go. We won't see them, most of them until next summer. And for them, it's hard because as a group, they're together. They're from, Luzerne, Lackawanna County.
The camp is supported through the donations of a number of local businesses. And let's check the winning midday lottery numbers. Good luck if you play. The Daily 303, Big 4 2876, Quinto 25734, and the Treasure Hunt 8 9 14 27 29. Hope you won.
Good evening, everyone, and here's tonight's Talk of the Town report. First tonight, St. Mary's Ukrainian Church in McAdoo will be holding its 6th annual homecoming picnic, August 16th through the 18th. Enjoy delicious ethnic food, baked goods, refreshments, entertainment, and much more. Hours will be Friday from 6 to 10, Saturday from 1 to 10, and Sunday from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Also tonight, the Schuylkill United Way will be holding their county kickoff breakfast Friday, September 6th at 8 a.m. The event will be held at BSU Schuylkill Health and Wellness Building. For more info, please call 570-622-6421. And finally, more drivers are always needed for the American Cancer Society's Road to Recovery program. Whether you live in a city or in the country, your help is needed. Hours are flexible, but normally from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. If you can help, please give them a call, 570-562-9749. That's tonight's Talk of the Town. News 13 would like to send sincere condolences to the family and friends of these recently departed. Gerald E. Hittinger of Weatherly. Memorial service will be held Friday at 11 a.m. at the Union Cemetery. Arrangements are by the Philip J. Jeffries Funeral Home. Helen R. Sweat of Hazleton. Funeral will be held Friday at 10 a.m. from the Frank J. Bonin Funeral Home. Friends may call Friday from 9 to 10 a.m. And John F. Jack Klein of Orwigsburg. The Lukovitz-Orovitz-Fell Funeral Home is in charge of arrangements. Tonight's obituaries have been brought to you by the Smilax Floral Shop located on 15th Street in Hazleton. Free delivery to all local funeral homes. Call 570-454-0111. And by Doves of White, serving Schuylkill and surrounding counties. Call 570-205-1597.
SSPTV Sports on News 13.
With the weather already cooling down in August, you can feel it in the air. With yesterday's cool breeze, it just felt like football was on the way. And the wait is almost over. 21 days until the NFL season kicks off. However, even closer until high school football rolls right around the corner.
August 30th marks the day of a new start and a new season for the Hazleton Cougars. The Cougars know they have their work cut out for them after coming off a disappointing season last year. The Cougars are already in their two-day practicing format, practicing once early and then once during the evening. The Cougars open their season at home versus Scranton, and one thing Coach Drumheller is already sold on is the experience.
Well, the first thing is we got a lot of seniors back. You know, they've been in the games before, sophomores and juniors, and right now we're getting great senior leadership from them, and their attitude is great, and they're just working very hard.
No question, Coach Drumheller is looking to avenge a disappointing season. With that said, let's take a look at the first few games for the Cougars. They'll start off with a pretty much the same schedule as last year, and in last year's first 5 games, they went 1-4 with the win coming against Williamsport. Hazleton will undoubtedly have their hands full with Scranton, as they were shut out in last season's opener against them. Well, on to a more somber note. Former Marian Catholic football standout and former NFL player Philip Ryan is headed to jail after admitting he was under the influence when he seriously injured a motorist while he was behind the wheel in June of 2012. Ryan was an offensive lineman with Marian Catholic, and then upon graduation of the University of Connecticut, Ryan signed a deal with the Cincinnati Bengals back in 2012, but then was released a few months later. The Tumaco resident is facing 1 to 6 months behind bars. Continuing with football, the NFL preseason is in full swing tonight. Michael Vick leads the Eagles in Philly against the Carolina Panthers. Both Vick and Nick Foles are expected to split time. No word if Cam Newton will be behind the center, but expect him in there anyway. Some more games also on the hook tonight as the Ravens and Falcons duel it out. Joe Flacco calling this year's Ravens defense the most dominant defense he's ever seen, so we'll see how well they can take on Matty Ryan's offensively sound Atlanta Falcons. 2 more games tonight. Chicago hosts San Diego, and Detroit visits Cleveland. Moving on to some baseball action tonight, we mentioned Alfonso Soriano and the tear he was on Tuesday night, and let's just say that he played well last night was an understatement. Soriano lit it up, and in the past 25 years, I don't know if we've ever seen a better offensive performance in the span of 2 games than what Soriano has put on Tuesday and Wednesday night. Last night, Soriano showed up big time with the bases loaded twice, once hitting a grand slam, and then the next time coming up with the bases loaded, he hit a 2-run double. Oh, and then to follow up that at bat, he smashed a home run. So Soriano, 13 RBIs in 2 games. It took him 148 at-bats to reach that with the Cubs. Unbelievable stuff happening in New York recently, despite being out of a playoff spot. The Russ Kanzler watch is always in effect here at News 13, and last night Kanzler went 1 for 4 with 2 strikeouts in his team's 3-2 win over Columbus. Kanzler still keeping that batting average at .257 so far this season. The Rail Riders were in action last night, and there was free baseball in Scranton. The Riders fell short in 10 innings. Dan Johnson having a nice night at the plate, going 2 for 4 with the RBI. Johnson leads all Rail Riders with 20 home runs. Some more action on the diamond tonight in AAA. Columbus takes on Indianapolis. Syracuse duels off against the Iron Pigs, and the Rail Riders, coming off an extra innings loss, face Charlotte. Well, it's a quiet night in terms of local teams in the MLB. Most games already being played in a matinee style, but nevertheless, Joe Madden and his Rays hosting the Mariners in what has some big playoff implications for Madden's squad. A small note to touch base on today, 76ers owner Joshua Harris was introduced today as the NHL's New Jersey Devils owner. Harris mentioned in a press conference that the New Jersey-Philly rivalry didn't have any influence in his decision to purchase the club. Harris stated he has family that were lifelong residents in Newark. And a nice last story, as Pittston graduate and Temple graduate Brandon Matthews has won the U.S. Amateur Golf Tournament that we mentioned yesterday. He beat Matt Pizzato, rallying for the win. That's all I got for News 13 Sports.
Tonight's sports is brought to you by Mountain Speedway. Here's a look at this weekend's action. It's going to be busy. The racing will begin at 6, so plenty of action this Saturday. Just $10 for grandstand admission. Kids under 10 are free, and if you're active military or a senior, you get a $2 discount. There's the website and the phone numbers. You could call them and get all the information on the excitement of racing down at Mountain Speedway. We're giving away 2 grandstand admission tickets to this weekend's race. Call us right now, 459-9813, and if you're the 3rd caller, you can claim your tickets at the race with proper ID. Hey, that's a pretty interesting ticket.
And here's what our media partner, the Standard Speaker, is working on for tomorrow's edition. The State Superior Court will hear Jerry Sandusky's appeal on child sex charges during a special session here in Luzerne County. You can read all about it in the Friday edition of the Standard Speaker. And plenty more news and information headed your way on News 13. A grassroots effort to raise money for the embattled suspended police chief of Gilberton. That story and much more news when the 13 crew comes right back.